Hi. So this is going to be how I found out I have a brain tumor, or had a brain tumor, or barely have a brain tumor anymore. You either clicked on this video because you are a friend, a family member, or anyone who follows me on my social medias, or you are simply just a person researching. You could be a doctor or anything, I guess. Or you're just like me. No, we might not have the same brain tumor, but you might be just as scared as I was when I found out. Okay, so if you've stuck with me this far, here's my story. I don't know how many times I've tried telling it, but there's a lot. So, how I found out I had, or slightly have, a brain tumor. To start, I was a happy, normal, healthy 23-year-old. I never had any symptoms before this that I was aware of, except for the day that it started this journey. So, January 2019, I had a grandmal seizure. I did my regular routine. I was going back to work after the holidays. I got up at 5 a.m. and I worked out, because that's what I usually do. That's what I've been doing since the beginning of 2018, basically. So no change in anything. I was just doing what I usually do. I got myself ready for work, packed my bags, packed up my child for her school, and we headed off. I had eaten a little bit, not a lot. I took a lot of it with me because I would make shakes, so I had that in my bag. So we probably left the house around 7:30 a.m. And then we got to her school. I don't remember having any worries or anything, any kind of doubts that something was going to happen. Like, it was just normal that I could remember. So we got in. I signed her in. I said goodbye to her. I walked down the stairs, and as I went to leave, I stopped the teacher, and I'm not sure at this point whether I had said the words or slurred the words. All I can remember is saying, if I did, "How are your holidays?" And it went black from there. Pitch black. Until I woke up in the ambulance. And that is when I had my grandmal seizure. Never in my life have I had a seizure that I'm aware of any type. If I seem to be going back and forth and slurring my words and not really making sense, I'm on my 3rd month of recovery from brain surgery to remove a tumor that was the size of a clementine on the right side of my head. So, try to take it easy on me. So from there, I was having my seizure, and from point A to point B of when I woke up, the hospital was really close, but I don't know where the ambulance was to where I had my seizure and to when I woke up. I know where I woke up because I can remember sort of seeing it. I remember waking up where I was. I could see the intersection through the back doors. So yes, where am I? I'm sorry. I had my seizure, and I woke up, and I saw the paramedic, and I was wondering what the heck just happened. and she was really nice to me. She was very calm, and she was probably the best thing that ever happened to me, honestly. And if she ever sees this video, thank you. I hope you remember me, and I thank you so much for the way you treated me. Actually, any of the staff that see my face and they recognize me, because I won't recognize you, that's something I have a problem with after surgery. I can't recognize faces. I want to thank all of you, my entire medical team. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. I thank you from me and my family and my friends, especially my surgeon, because you basically saved my life. So I woke up. I know I'm going way off, but I had to do that. I woke up and she asked me if I had a seizure, or if I've ever had a seizure before, and I said no, I've never had a seizure in my entire life. Like, what do you mean I've had a grandmal seizure? I was doing full convulsions, and I had bit my tongue really hard. I had a huge gash on my tongue for like 2 weeks. It was awful and so uncomfortable. And she had asked me if I pee or pooped myself, because some people do. And I'm like, I sure hope not. That's what I said to her. I said, I sure hope not. So we got to the hospital, and she did her whole thing. She checked me and made sure I was okay. I mean, I'm not fully okay, but I tried to keep myself calm, and I did. I've kept myself calm this entire time. They brought me in. They were going to put me into a merge, but they were just getting all my information. So from point A to point B, the care had called my mother and told her what happened, and she brought my health card. She went and picked up my brother. She banged on his door because he doesn't live far from me. She banged on his door and she brought him and scared the crap out of probably both of them. And brought my health card to the hospital, so they pretty much had all my information because she was almost right behind them. And I think they had just asked me for my name and stuff, and then they got my health card like 5 minutes after I got to the hospital, so they didn't need any of my information. So they brought me into a merge, and they told me they were going to book me for a CT scan or a CAT scan, whatever it is. And they hooked me up to an IV and started pumping me with seizure medication so I didn't slip again. They had asked me what I had done in the morning, so they had thought maybe I was dehydrated or hungry or something, some kind of trigger for a seizure. I don't know. I don't know what they were thinking, and I don't remember. I guess my mind has blocked that out. So I sat there and we waited. My mom was with me, and we waited for my CT scan or CAT scan. I went and had it, and then I came back, and the doctor came in about an hour after. I'm not sure what the time frame was, and he told me that my head was showing that I had a mass growing on the right side of my head. And it was like a movie. He pulled the curtains, he came in, he kneeled down next to me, and I knew for sure something bad was gonna happen, because I think he put even his hand on my leg or my knee or whatever, and he had told me this information, and he left, and he closed the curtain. The second he closed the curtain, I started crying. I was bawling my eyes out. I was scared. And I think anyone would be scared at that point. And there's nothing wrong with being scared. There shouldn't be anything attached to your brain. So I cried, and my mom held me. And then, before this, I had told my mom, I'm like, don't contact my boyfriend until he's on break, because I didn't want to stress him out and I didn't know what it was, and I didn't know. And eventually she got in contact with him and he came too, and everyone came and visited me. He went and got my belongings because I ended up staying in the hospital for 2 days because they were trying to book me for an MRI, and I ended up getting one in our hometown. And at first they were pushing to get me into the hospital that specializes in basically your head. So yeah, they tried to get me in there and they couldn't. But they got me an MRI in my hometown, just at a different hospital. That was an experience in itself. And they kind of warned me. They had told me, if you're claustrophobic, I think they could have given me something, but I'm like, I'm not. You know what? I'll just do it. Let's just get this MRI over with and find out what the heck is in my head. So we did. And they had given me the information that it was a brain tumor. He said it's benign, but he also said, I'm not supposed to say that to you because they're not really sure what it is. But they assume it's benign. And let that sink in. How would you react to all of this happening to you when, what was it? It was within a week time frame. Do you think that Monday that you're going to collapse and have a grandmal seizure the next day? No. No. Not at all. So, fast forward a little bit. The hospital had gotten me a consultation with a neurosurgeon or a neurologist or whatever. They all work together in this hospital. So I had my consultation. I went with my mother and my grandfather, and they showed me my MRI, this brain tumor, this big mass in my head, and I had to keep myself together because this thing was huge. It was all fluid. After my surgery, if you want a comparison of what the size of the tumor was, my surgeon had said bigger than a plum, and my oncologist said the size of a clementine. So about this big. And anyway, so we had the consultation, we talked about surgery, and I was like, let's go for it, let's get this sucker out of my head. Let's get it out now, as soon as possible. And he said, well, we're gonna book you in, and he said it wasn't gonna happen like right away, it wasn't gonna happen within the week, but I would get a call, and they'd book me for my surgery, brain surgery, to cut my head open and take this tumor out of my head. So even that was worrisome. The hospital I was at had put me on a steroid and seizure medication, and I was taking that daily. A lot of the steroid to keep the swelling down. And that's about it. I remember having anxiety on the way to my consultation, and when we had left, I had coloring books, and I found coloring really helped me before my surgery to keep me busy because I wasn't allowed to go back to work. Because I was seizure risk and I needed to be monitored 24/7. So yes, on the way home from my consultation, I cried. Like, I didn't cry hard, but I cried. I mean, anyone in this situation, it's hard and it's scary. It doesn't matter whether it's benign or it's some form of cancer, it's scary. And it completely changes you after having surgery. It completely changes you once they tell you you have a brain tumor. So yes, all of this happened in January. It was very fast paced. I had my surgery booked and it got pushed a week. So I didn't have my surgery until February 5th. And today, what is today? When I'm making this video is April 29th. I probably won't post it on April 29th, but this is when I'm making the video, so I'm basically 3 months post-op. And I have a few struggles. I was lucky enough to not have a lot of issues after having surgery. And they had given me all the possible cases of what could happen, but I was basically fine. But saying that, I can make another video if you want of how brain surgery went and my recovery. Right now I'm still recovering, so I can't really finish a video of that. But I can talk about my surgery because that itself was fascinating. But I'm not going to say that brain surgery is easy, and I'm not going to say having a brain tumor is easy, but I have had it fairly good so far, and I'm being a trooper. I'm doing this video to help spread awareness and help anyone that needs some kind of relief. You're gonna be okay. It doesn't matter what it is, you're gonna be okay. So I think I've gotten everything. Again, all of January I stayed at home. But I was with my grandparents a lot. They came all the way back because they stay in Florida for the winter. They came all the way home and they spent that month with me until my surgery on February 5th. I believe they left the Sunday after my surgery because it was during the week. I think it was a Tuesday when I had my surgery. So I stayed with them. I hung out with my dad. My mom would stay home. My boyfriend would stay home. Everyone kind of contributed to keeping an eye on me, and I never had a seizure again that I know of after the grandmal. And when they had me on the steroid and the seizure medication, it seemed like I was fine. And some nights I would cry because I was scared. Anyone would be scared. And there's nothing wrong with being scared. Anything like this, any kind of health crisis is scary. But right now I'm doing okay. It's 3 months and we're getting there. And I hope to also make a video about how my brain surgery went, because that itself was something interesting. And I've always kept my spirits up. I'm still me. I'm changed. It's changed me. That's what it feels like, at least. And if you're going through this experience right now, it's normal to feel that way. It's so normal to feel that way. And I wish you good luck. So, to recap, all I had was a grandmal seizure to find out I had a brain tumor. Thank you for listening. I'm going to end up just posting this raw because you're going to see me how I am, and you're going to see me how I'm struggling or whatever. I don't sit in front of cameras ever, so it doesn't matter how I look and how I sound. This is me in recovery 3 months after brain surgery, after them removing a clementine-sized tumor out of the right side of my head, right here. It was in my temporal lobe. And it is a rare type of tumor, so I'll be monitored for the rest of my life to make sure it doesn't do anything, but there's a lot of good out of this type of tumor than bad. To also go over this, before I forget, when I went for my consultation, I was told that it may be a meningioma tumor. And then before my surgery, right before my surgery, my neurosurgeon came in and said it's possibly a glioma, and he went over what a glioma was. But in the next video, when I talk about my brain surgery, I will go over that more, and I actually have a picture that he drew for me when he was explaining it to me. Thank you for listening. Keep in contact with me through Instagram. You can see all of my photos and all of my updates and how I've been doing under Katt. It's KATTSZED. That's it. KATTSZED is my Instagram, and that's where I've been sharing my entire journey from start to finish. We're not finished yet, but we're getting there. And I hope you come back for my brain surgery story, because that is something to talk about to begin with. I'm gonna feel really silly watching this video and posting it, but I think it's important to help anyone in this situation, and you're not alone. I want you to know that you're never going to be alone. There is a huge community of us. You are not alone. Thank you for listening to my brain tumor story, or how I found out. And I'll talk to you guys later. See you. And I will make sure to post all my social media in the box below, whatever it's called.